Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. I'm Leggy Starscream, and joined me in the booth is Game Boy F9.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. It's gonna be a pretty good matchup coming up here with Sylverfyre and Thunderclaude.
Yeah, both runners opting for what has kind of become the FFR traditional party of the fighter plus one of each of the mages, everyone's favorite rainbow fighter party. And as we get into Earth Week, what sorts of things do you think we're going to see?
Well, I don't know per se, but I kind of think that this is one of my more favorite weeks though, because it's just like you know what? I don't know actually, because I don't know. That's I guess that's a tougher question for me. But I definitely there definitely could be some interesting Earth cave dives that would sound very. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out as we get things started here.
Yeah, the one thing to watch out for is that with the Earth Cave incentivized, our runners might have to go in, beat up the vampire like this is vanilla, and dig out whatever item is there in order to make their progression through the rest of the seed to get that rod, uh, or even before they have any hope of getting that rod in order to completely clear out the Earth Cave.
Yeah, that's a very good point. As the competition has begun with Silverfire going immediately to the magic stores, Heal 3 shows up on the white, and over on the black, it's Nuke. Oh, here we go.
Ooh. Okay, early nuke is super nice. I honestly wouldn't blame either runner if they reset right away for an extra red mage just to have those extra nuke charges. But with heal 3 lock, the red wizard, I could understand opting to keep that white mage so you have access to it early.
Yeah, and I mean, you never know. Level 2 could just be Fade in it, or Life 2, or something really awesome. Or it could be the White Mage could have something that the Red Mage couldn't have. So I guess we're going to find out here as we head on over to the Temple of Fiends. Sill's going directly to Garland.
And that boy is not going to fare well once we turn those microwaves on.
That is very true. Meanwhile, Thunderclaude looks like took a very early battle and gonna go in and out and in, and it still gets a rod, and then gets a power gauntlet. Wow! So the power gauntlet, for those who are new, it not only increases the attack power, it also increases the hit percentage. So a really nice item.
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm either of these runners, I'm way more excited to see that early rod because it means the moment I'm ready to go into Earth Cave, I can go in, clear the whole thing, kill Lich, never have to go back there again. And for me, the less time I spend in Earth Cave, the happier of a girl I am.
Yeah, indeed. And we saw the first box. I think it was $3 or something like that. Another 1,000 more over in the other two boxes over the Temple of Fiends. So, still with the great play of skipping those first three chests to start off.
Yeah, heading straight over to Provoca, which is kind of usual routing with these flags. Occasionally, you see a runner deciding to instead run over and check out Dwarf before heading over here. But coming over to Provoca means you have access to level 2 magic, which basically doubles the amount of things your mages can do, such as that Cure 4 we see at level 2. That's going to be super good, especially on that night later.
Wow, and this is a really good seed to start off with. Fire 3 and Fast. So, Fast, obviously, a perfect setup for the late game.
And never discount the power of Quad X. It will kill anything as long as it has 300 or less hit points and no resistance to death magic, which is way more enemies than you'd expect.
That's also a very good point. As Syl is gonna head on off to the pirates, and they're all gonna go arr. They're gonna go down the deep ravine. Oh wait, that's a different. Sorry.
Yeah, they're gonna go R. We're gonna go nuke, and they're going to just keel over and hand over whatever key item Bicky's holding on to today, which is the Oxyale.
Yeah, so that gives them access to the sea shrines straight away. And we see at the item shop, Sylverfyre picking up cabins and pure potions. It's always nice to pick those up. And that's one less thing for them to take care of there.
Finds
there in the weapons or the armor. Excuse me.
Finds the gold bracelets for 13k. That's going to be nice for later on once our runners have a certain amount of cash floating around. But that is easily the best money you can buy for a mage, best armor you can buy for a mage.
Yeah, that's true, and I did miss that. My bad. So, but yeah, that's
happens. And one of the other things of note, as I look back over the notes that our wonderful tracker Ale is taking, the cube was actually for sale in the Corneria item shop. So that's going to save our runners a lot of time running down that shop item.
Yeah, that's a really good start there, as that is continuing to form here, as Sylverfyre is off to Matoya's cave, and we find a pure potion, and Syl has found the canal. That's a really nice find. That is automatically loose throughout the tournament. And they're gonna head on out and move on to the next objective.
Yeah, as a lot of the routing around these flags, it starts with our runners just trying to dig out that canal as fast as they can, because it gives access effectively to the greater world at large. Sometimes you'll see an early canoe, which might make the canal appear, say, in the volcano or the ice cave, but more often than not, you'll find it in one of these early chests, either Dwarf Cave or Matoya's Cave, sometimes Temple of Fiends, or, of course, Marsh Cave. And with that canal, I don't think either of these runners are going to look anywhere near that cursed swampy hole until much later in the seed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the key thing is that there are 2 loose items out there, and they could be very key. They could be very required. They usually are. So, we'll see. I guess somebody could gamble and try for Marsh Cave, but first, Sylverfyre is going to check out the Dwarf Cave,
which is a fairly fast check to make. It's only 2 chests if you don't have the key or either of the turn-in items. But it is 2 effectively free chests as long as, ogres aren't being too rude. Finds about 18k, about 1800. 18k would be amazing.
Yeah, 1800 isn't that bad though.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. Not exactly what I think Syl is looking for, of course, as they're having a little trouble with the encounter manipulation this seed.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the encounter chart is like, but it does look like Syl will check out the 3 boxes here at the Temple of Fiends, and they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, you have the canal, so you might want to come back later, but in Syl's head, if there's, for instance, the loose canoe in TOF or a loose floater in TOF, you don't want to leave that behind, because the moment you do, you're not coming back here until you've gone on a wild goose chase all the way around the world. Thunderclaude, on the other hand, is opting to book it straight for the guaranteed key item over at Crescent Lake.
Yeah, that makes very perfect sense. Just get that free item, move on, and who knows? It could be the floater, and yeah, he could be flying. I guess we'll find out here shortly. I also like him getting a few free monster, well, not free, but a few monsters here to get some extra experience here.
Yeah, especially this early on, while our runners don't have a lot in the way of levels. The fights outside of Crescent Lake are fairly valuable for, oof, level 5 life and life 2. Um, level 5 black magic is completely useless.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer to see Life and Life 2 at the same level. Also, level 5 isn't all that great either, although, as you level up, you'll get more charges and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, the
Um,
real issue is that since neither of our runners have actually gone down to Elfland to see the level 3 magic, I'm sure Syl was hoping to see one of the two in one of the slots there that the knight could learn, because there's a lot of cases when you're down in the Temple of Fiends where that knight's a member of your party.
Yeah, exactly. And Classic Gamer 76 over in chat was mentioning about how those trolls survived 2 nukes. The trolls can have up to 368 HP, and I think they were right around that mark.
We find Exit in the level 6 white magic slot. Exit, of course, being a spell that allows you to instantly, well, exit any dungeon you're in. So it makes a lot, if you have an early access to Exit, it makes a lot of dungeon dives a lot safer. But at level 6, that's effectively out of reach for most of the seed.
Yeah, it is. But Thunderclaude did find the key, and I believe Syl's headed toward that point right now. And that's going to mean a lot of treasure opportunity coming up. So we'll see.
Yeah, the key opens up the armories in both Corneria and Elfland, as well as the Dwarven Armory and a bunch of chests down in Marsh Cave, as well as the hidden treasure castle. Not to mention a few other doors much later on. I mean, okay, actually, never mind. There is one room in Sea Shrine that our runners can now access because they're going to have the keys.
Yeah, and that's the most important one. What do you think? Key items right there. Is that what you're calling out there, Leggy?
I'm not saying it's there because, let's face it, mathematically, the odds of that pickup being there are fairly low. It's one chest out of over 300 in this game.
Yeah, that's true. The odds are not significant. It looks like Thunder instead is going to head over to Corneria Castle to pick up those 6 boxes there.
Yeah, 6 boxes. It's basically free in terms of not worrying about encounters.
Yeah, right now it
About
looks
a little
like
over 3k gold.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, 3600 a flame. Oh, dragon armor, the best armor in the game for a knight.
Yeah, that flame armor, nothing to sneeze at either. That's effectively the best armor that fighter could wear. So you have your pre-promotion armor, and then in your back pocket, if you find that tail, you've got your upgrade.
Ooh, still 1,000 quid short of getting a cube, so gonna need to work a little bit more there, Thunderclaude.
Yeah, luckily for him, he's got, the 8 chests in Dwarf Cave, the 4 chests over in Elfland when he heads down there. So, with any luck, one of those chests will have a bit of cash. As Syl opts to try and take out one of these peds.
All right. Meanwhile, yeah, it looks like he's gonna check out this little little room here. 1,600, 4,100, 46, 50. Wow, just a whole lot of money. A great axe. That's a nice little weapon for the knight, as well as an ice sword. That's even better.
Yeah, that ice sword basically says, why is that axe even called great when you have an ice sword?
I know, right?
Syl doing what I honestly feel like is the correct play at this point and heading over to Earth Cave. We have access to that guaranteed incentive item. We have way too many nuke charges between our two black casters.
And here's another key too. I mean, there's all these trap tiles nearby, and they're B-side trap tiles. So if the right monsters show up and they roll low HP, that could be a huge boom.
Yeah. Still opting to open up the boxes first, which makes sense. We still have our two loose items in addition to the canal. Oof, as the Bulls one-shot the White Mage.
Oh my. And also one-shot the Black Mage there.
Well,
Rare sword, a silver helmet are the boxes there. Not all that great.
So, here's the thing about this, giving it a look. That is probably intentional on Syl's part. Especially this early on, if you want to go down and take on Kraken, you really, really, really want to get levels on your fighter so you can start slamming whatever piece of steel you have into Lich. Killing off the two squishy mages means that you'll be funneling that experience into the red mage, who will still be kicking around, as well as the fighter, who is really the one you want to keep up, but you kind of have to keep at least one mage to cast nuke.
Yeah, exactly. And we noticed a light axe find over in the boxes as well as a pro cape. The light axe casting harm 2, which will knock out a whole lot of undead as time goes on. Oh my goodness, look at that trap tile over Thunderclaude's side there. A whole lot of Frost Wolves and a few Frost Giants, and they're not rolling high HP there. And that's going to be worth a ton of points Thunderclaude's way.
Yeah, no, those were really, really good nuke rolls, and of course, nuke can roll downwards of 100 damage. So it's entirely possible that we just saw that be super lucky on the high rolls. But still, anything under 400 HP is going to go down to one or two nukes usually.
All right, so let's see. Looks like Syl's gonna take a save here and gonna dive down to see what the incentivized item is. Meanwhile, Thunderclaude, now having 45,000 gold, will pick up a whole lot of, pick up one cube and then pick up some soft potions, probably buy some houses. Yep, there's 10 houses. Perfect. It'll heal, get all your magic back and all that good stuff. A whole lot of heal potions. So, really, really nice here over Thunderclaude's side so far.
Syl, for their trouble, just finds a lot of spiders.
Darn spiders. But we do have some more boxes over here, and we have more money, and more money. It's all money all the time. 2,500 gold there.
Yeah, and it adds up as you go. I think Syl is definitely trying to rush down and try and find that incentive chest as fast as they can.
Yeah, it's good strategy, that's for sure. We find Lock 2 and Warp as spells over in the black level 3 spell shop.
That is that is not good for news for Syl. Right now they're going in. Yeah, they've got the rod, but if they find something down here that's nasty, but they also find a key item, that warp would allow them to jump back out of the dungeon and perhaps save some progression that they can cash out rather than having to try and run it all the way back up or forge on forward to take on the Lich.
Meanwhile, we just saw heal 2 over the white spell store. We're level 4, so not too much going on that level. And we see a couple images there. Nice use of the light axe, and that's gonna score Syl some more points there.
Yay, points!
And then they open up a box for 87 gold. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile,
Yeah, that's one of the few boxes in Earth Cave that we actually open up in the vanilla speedrun. And in vanilla, that one has 3,400 gold. Fun.
Now, Syl does skip this box. We just saw a race against sylverfyre. I hope I pronounced her name correctly, where she picked up that box and her opponent, Ikbin Maya, skipped that box, and that pretty much was the margin of victory.
Yeah, until you found both loose items, orphaning chests is always a gamble.
And I apologize, I just missed that box over in the Earth Cave. What was that?
It was the herb for the Sleeping Prince in Elfland.
Ah, yes, so that will yield into another item. And this is, it's also plus 5% experience and gold. So, as finally,
nothing to
Syl's
sneeze at.
getting some money here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, no, that's nothing to sneeze at. Because of the way the experience scaling in this works in this game, and because of how many key items there are that proc that experience growth, you actually see a significant gain over the course of the seed as you open up key items and move.
Over in Thunderclaude's side, he found a whole lot of sorcerers as one of the trap tiles, and it didn't look like they were doing anything interesting. So it's just a nice, moderate experience count and a whole lot of money to be awarded there. So that's an okay find.
Yeah, sorcerers aren't exactly the most valuable pickup. I'm pulling up my notes on just like enemy stats.
Oh, there we go. 12,398 money plus a little bit more. And then we have mandatory oozes and arachnids.
Yeah, sorcerers are worth about 800 XP a piece, putting them on par with, say, sea trolls and catmen. Not necessarily the grind you want to take to get your black belt to 32, but like if you find them early and you put a few nuke charges into it because you've got them, it can get you a few early levels.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing is that the sorcerers are, if they don't have anything special, they hardly damage you at all. So that's another consideration.
Yeah, the reason for that is in the vanilla game, the sorcerers are the enemy that gives us death touch, everyone's favorite status attack. And because they have death touch, they don't need to do that much other damage, because you're going to die regardless.
Oh, that's not my favorite attack. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's always an interesting time when, say, something fun rolls death touch. My personal favorite is when it's Kraken 2 and you're like, did you even really need that at this point?
Oh. Did Syl find the slab in the second floor of the Earth Cave? Because Thunderclaude just did.
I think Syl orphaned those checks, probably knowing where they are, but given that that check is a little out of the way, I totally expect them to drop a save, go back in, and open up the... Oh.
Yeah, Ailmark in our tracker has not marked that Syl picked up the slab, so Syl will be behind.
Granted, they are trying to run off some of those encounters, so... Oh no, Syl. Go back. Syl, go
Yeah.
back!
My goodness, Leggy, this is just reminiscent to just a few just a couple hours ago. Just another race I just watched a couple hours ago. My goodness.
Yeah, I hope Syl remembers that they didn't open those boxes. That's all I can say right now.
Ah, cockatrices. Those are also birds that I like to destroy when I play the game because as long as they don't have that stone touch or whatever, they're totally useless. Oh wow! No thieves in the game though, so that katana is not going to help us.
I mean, it's still a chunk of cash in sword form.
Yeah, very true, very true. Looks like Syl's gonna check out the room there at the dwarf cave to get all those boxes. So
Yeah, we'll get a fair bit of cash and their second ice sword for their troubles.
hooray, ice swords! Yeah, and this is gonna be a really nice check here over at Thunderclaude. We're gonna figure out the other box still skipped. It's
Yeah, the
funny.
nice thing.
A 10.
The,
Okay.
yeah, the only nice thing about this being a loose slab is that it's not gating the airship. It could gate a required item, but Syl will be able to get airborne because the slab's turn in is all the way at Lefane, which you do need the airship to get.
That is very true. And meanwhile, we're going to say goodbye to the vampire once again. I swear, this vampire has the worst luck in the history of FFR.
Wait, sorry, you said there was something there? I didn't see anything.
Oh no! I'm sorry. No, I didn't see anything either. Yeah. All right, so Thunderclaude's gonna go ahead and go to the 4th floor here, while Syl's gonna check out the boxes over in Corneria Castle.
Yeah, the nice thing about having that early rod is you do get the early orblet. So both of our runners are actually going to be at 1 orb each before the 30-minute mark, which is radically different than how the races were going last week.
Yeah, that is very true. Especially when you draw, draw a really nice set that we've drawn so far. Still just 509 gold away from the maximum 16-bit integer there, as far as money's concerned.
Did Syl pick up their cube?
Are they gonna pick it up right now with this herb turn in? Let's see. No, that's a bottle.
Yeah, no, the cube is at the Corneria item shop.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they bought that yet. All right.
Yeah. Getting Fog 2 and Harm 4, fairly good bits of white magic at level 3.
Yeah, exactly. Fog 2 increases the armor for all allies by a significant amount, and Harm 4 pretty much destroys all the undead for the most part.
Yeah. Fog 2 and Invis 2 being the two effectively best defensive buffs you can get in this.
All right, Thunderclaude on the 5th and final floor of the Earth Cave. But first has to deal with mandatory oozes that cast cremate. We didn't see that yet.
Yeah, so Syl turns in the herb, finds a bottle, which again is one of the items that's going to only be useful once we get airborne. And with that, I think we're at the point where we have to find our other loose item to get airborne.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case, but that literally could be anywhere, couldn't it? Could it be? Let's see. No, we did not pick up the chime, so no, it's not at the Mirage Tower. But it could be in here, a house, a pure potion, and 92 gold over the Western Keep. That's not going to help them too much.
Some nice gray worms. But at this point, the only places we have left on the map are Marsh Cave and Sea Shrine.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can reach the Sea Shrine. I was thinking of the. I was thinking you had to go through the canal first, but no, you don't have to do that. Wraiths on the other trap tile there, so not too good there.
Yeah, one of the big things I think a lot of runners learned last week was just how little you need to get into Sea Shrine with open progression on.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of bizarre. You know, when I've been practicing this for commentary, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, I actually have to do that?
Yeah, I had one seed when I was derusting this a little bit and getting ready for this tournament, where I'm like, wait, where do I need to go? And the answer was I needed to park my ship at dock and then canoe over to the caravan to buy, I think it was just straight up a loose floater.
Well, so Asher1611 over in chat, good seeing you, was encouraging Thunderclaude to go to the Marsh Cave, but instead it's Sylverfyre doing that.
Yeah, I don't hate the marsh dive at this point. Our runners do have a bunch of levels, and as always, nuke charges cover so many of our sins. But what's interesting is that while the marsh dive is safer, it's a little less lucrative in terms of sheer chest density. And so if our canoe or maybe even our ruby or hypothetically the fetch quest item that leads up to it is what we're looking for at this point, the overall mathematical odds do favor Sea Shrine.
Yeah, which is exactly where Thunderclaude's going. So, very distinct change of paths. We're going to see which path is better right now as we check out the first box, an iron helmet. Yay.
However, even if Marsh Cave doesn't turn out to be the play, it could also be super rewarding. And there's the loose TNT.
Well, what does that TNT turn into? Let's find out.
Syl wants nothing else to do with Marsh Cave, and I don't blame them in the slightest.
Watch, Massamute's gonna be in there.
I mean, it was for me.
Eventually we're gonna get there, but these monsters are being annoying.
Yeah, Game Boy going to talk to the mermaid. Sorry, you're Game Boy. That's Thunderclaude. Hi, I'm awake.
No, I'm not talking to the no.
Thunderclaude giving us a look at the mermaids, just like it's last week.
And you know what? I mean, when we were just talking, you know what? We thought Thunderclaude had the better play, and it still might be the better play in some regards, in that, we could have the Mass Immune down there. We could have something really awesome down there. We're about to find out.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about these loose item check gambles is that even if you don't find, say, your progression or a required item, you can still gain some advantage by making checks your opponent doesn't if it turns into powerful equipment.
Well, that's pretty powerful equipment in the opal armor, but you're gonna need to promote first.
Thunderclaude checking the keylock chest in Marsh gets rewarded with 11,500.
Yeah, that's not all that great. While Syl just picked up a whole lot of gold bracelets for their party.
Which, again, the best armor you can buy for a mage. Gold bracelets, because they're worth it.
Oh, poor Lobster just got nuked away without having anything to say.
Asher pointing out in chat that during a lot of the sims that he ran early on while we were fine-tuning these flags, let's say, found a lot of loose progression in everyone's favorite chest and sea shrine, that keylocked one, TFC, as it's known in the community.
Meanwhile, we have mandatory sharks in the sea shrine, and that's one of the cool things about these flags is that the mandatory battles are shuffled around, so you never know what you're gonna be forced to fight.
Yeah, however, there is always going to be one random encounter which is unrunnable for sure. It's your Wiz Sahag, Red Sahag pack down here in the Sea Shrine. And if they roll something nasty, Sea Shrine can be a horrifying, horrifying place.
Yeah, exactly. What I like to call the mandatory, so to speak. Here's the TNT. It leads to the crystal. It's fetch quest time. Or maybe you might want to call it a wild goose chase if you're a fan of that game.
Honk!
Honk.
Yeah, still deep in fetch quest hell, but at this point, we know that this is 100% the required line of play.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, excuse me. I mean, there's two items right there. That's 10% extra experience, and I mean, if the crystal winds up to be something like boom, then something amazing. Away they go.
Yeah, I think, again, at this point, well, I guess it could turn into the chime, but no, it couldn't because we found both our loose items. We found the loose TNT and we found the loose slab. Ooh, Thunderclaude pulls a ribbon out of mermaids.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a pretty good consolation prize. The ribbon gives the user immunity to a whole lot of things, and the wild goose chase continues over in Syl's side with a ruby.
Luckily, in this flag set, because we have the Titan's Trove incentivized, that ruby is actually going to turn into 2 key items, which I'm calling it now Canoe and Floater.
Who are you, Cheesinator? Because that's exactly what was called out in chat by that person.
We're on the same page.
Okay, that's okay. I'll give you that. Meanwhile, didn't look like there was much else going on over there at Thunderclaude's side, so he's gonna back out. And is he gonna head on back in? No, he's going to. Nope. Yeah. What am I saying? Yes, he's going back in. Gonna check out the lower floors.
Yeah, he's still on that loose item hunt, foregoing Marsh Cave, which, again, is a gamble. He'll be rewarded maybe with some more equipment to go with that nice ribbon he found, but it won't be the progression I'm sure he's looking for.
Yeah, 6,500 money is not the progression. That's for sure. But I was gonna say Gray Shark and Big Eye, which is worth a decent amount of experience, but doesn't look like it. Meanwhile, we're about to find out what is in the Titan's Trove after we deal with some ogres.
White Shirt, which is an incredible pickup, and a Thor hammer.
Ooh, not really what they were looking for. Well, the white shirt, yes. The Thor hammer, but not a key item.
It's nice. It does give you that infinite lit twos, and the white shirt gives you the infinite invis twos. I'm never going to say no to either of those, but at this point, Sarda has to be the canoe. Boom.
Well, Leggy, you called it. So now what's their next play?
Look, if I was able to control fate, I would have them go back into Earth, grab those 3 chests they left behind, and find their slab. I doubt that's going to happen.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But the real question is, if you're Syl, you found one of the 2 loose items. You have a canoe now, which means you can either do ordeals, ice, waterfall, or you could take the risk into volcano looking for the second loose item. What do you do?
I'll tell you one thing they're not doing is going back into Earth Cave.
So let's see here. We've seen the Power Bonk. We've seen the Thor Hammer. The only...
My goodness. I'm sorry to interrupt you. There is a second ribbon over in Thunderclaude's side. That is going to be really nice when it comes to the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Yeah, most runners of this game are very, very comfortable if they have 2 ribbons. For the most part, experienced runners can get away with only 1, but if you have 2 ribbons, it's effectively easy street for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like Syl's decision is going to the waterfall and figuring out what that key item is.
Yeah, I don't hate the waterfall dive, especially because you have the Oxy Ale, so if you're feeling comfortable enough to go whacking the Kraken, it's right there. But the waterfall is a fairly fast check. There's not a lot of different enemies in here, so the odds of something too nasty showing up in here script-wise is slightly lower. There's 6 chests and a key item at the end.
All right, so Thunderclaude is at the bottom floor of the Sea Shrine. And, oh, wow, those lobsters are hitting hard.
As lobsters are wont to do.
Well, I mean, let's consider our restreamer here, Demarine, who's a big fan of the lobsters, you know? Yeah, but we do thank her for restreaming tonight's race. We also thank Ailmarkin for tracking tonight's race as well. So definitely give both of them a follow. Also, don't forget to follow my co-commentator, Leggy Starscream.
Aw, well, don't forget to follow my co-commentator, Gameboy F9.
No, you don't have to follow me.
They don't have to, but they should.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Our and Kylo's as the spike tile there, and they had very low HP, so that was a nice point pickup there. And now the boxes, we have Adamant over the Silverfyre and the more goose chases. My goodness, we have a Excalibur find as well. Wow.
Also got a silver bracelet out of that, which would have been nice if Syl hadn't had all the money in the world and bought those gold bracelets.
I know, right? Okay, Kraken fight over in Thunderclaude's side, and my goodness, he's been totally destroyed. I like that cure for it. Nope.
Oof, turn ordered. That's rough.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Let's see if. Oh my goodness, the red mage chips him away.
41 damage off that Fire 3 takes it down. Wow. Who's up for fried squid?
Sure, I'm in. You know, I like a little nice, somewhat burnt squid. It's a really nice meal.
Yeah, you get that nice charred flavor to it.
Just don't overcook it, then it becomes really rubbery, and that's bleh.
Yeah. Oof. Max price, level 7 temper, black mage only.
Yeah, that's not all that great. Temper allows you to boost one person's strength of your choice, but which is a really nice Temple of Fiends Revisited spell, but it doesn't look like it's going to get a lot of use. All right, more sharks being shown the exit. Ooh, I like this play by Syl. They just took the experience points and ran. And they just went ahead and made it official, and now they have more spell charges.
Yeah, again, one of the balancing things you have to do while trying to move fast in this game is really keeping track of where you are in your dives. If there's a reason that warp and exit are some of the most powerful spells in this game, because if you get in even a little over your head, they allow you to turn a wipe into a time loss, but less of a time loss than you would have had if you weren't allowed to bank all the stuff you've collected.
Yeah, exactly.
Thunderclaude is finally giving us our look down into Marsh.
Oh, and he's going in the correct direction, and that means Thunderclaude is going to have a very solid lead.
Potentially, if that slab turns out to be required, which odds are good of at this point, then yes, I 100% agree with you. However, if that slab turns out to be just the opal bracelet, or even the tail, Syl might still have the advantage.
Yeah, that is a good point. However, Thunderclaude does have 2 orbs lit, and they're the exact same orbs as Syl is about to light. So, but again, it's still early, and well, Syl also had to deal with all that fetch questing. So, so they're in good shape that way.
Yeah, Syl's got a lot of the fetch questing that Thunderclaude is about to do out of the way already. So it's really hard to say, because of all these variables. How efficiently does Thunderclaude get his fetch questing done? Does the slab turn into anything? Does Syl remember they orphaned those chests?
Oh, they're going to be kicking themselves if that does turn out to be the case. But we'll see. The slab has yet to be turned in, and we have yet to find a floater.
Yeah. Syl, on the other hand, is definitely going to be orphaning those ribbons unless they go back in up to Mermaid side, because one of them was on this floor, and they're not stopping to open those boxes. They're going straight for the squid himself.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't think we've checked out ordeals yet, and I don't think we've checked out the ice cave yet. Is that correct?
Those would be correct statements, yes.
And I believe since we've discovered the loose items... Oh, no, wait a minute. We did not turn in the crystal yet. Was it? Or... Yeah, no.
No, the crystal gave us the ruby off of the TNT, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, they were supposed to... Oh, the adamant. The adamant hasn't been turned in for something.
Yes, that was what we fished out of the waterfall cave.
Right, so we won't find out what that entails quite yet.
Yeah, that could be our floater. Floater could also be at the ordeal spot or the ice cave spot. And either of those could also be, say, the which could turn into either of those, or like the floater or something.
Yeah, I do like what Syl's doing right now, just trying to see if they can knock out some waters and some of those really awesome sea shrine monsters, because they typically yield a whole lot of experience. And the waters were a little bit high on the HP count this time, so I'm not sure if they're going to continue going after water elementals, but still was a good idea to explore that.
Indeed.
All right, Thunderclaude turning in the crystal for the ruby. And
a gem for a gem.
A gem for a gem, and he'll move on to the next phase of his wild goose chase.
Which will, he'll get his white shirt, he'll get his Thor hammer, he'll get his canoe, and then he has to make the same choice that Syl faced. Only with the knowledge that he has all of the loose items.
Ooh. And the Black Mage goes down for Syl. Got a max nuke roll there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, because of where we know the life spells are, that Black Mage is not coming back up until we're out of this dungeon.
Yeah, that might make things a little bit difficult for Kraken. We'll find out here in a little bit.
On the other hand, Syl has been funneling most of their experience into the two currently living light warriors, so they're basically going for a party of two, which does make the two remaining characters fairly tanky.
Alright, I like this play, throwing down the white shirt and putting up the fog 2 to restrict the damage taken.
Yeah, Kraken gets off a hit before either of the buffs come out, and you can see the sheer amount of damage the squid can do. And you can also see the sheer amount of damage the squid doesn't do once you have your buffs up.
Yeah, so from 204 all the way down to just 40, well, or 79 in this case. And now we do see a couple of Power Glove boosts, and oh no! Oh gosh! Wow!
So just throw out the nukes.
So let me explain what happened. Kraken dealt, I believe, still had like 123 HP left. Kraken dealt 121, but they were poisoned, so they went down to 2. They took 2 points of poison damage and died.
Oh, that was awful to watch. But with the nuke charges, with the fully buffed up fasted red mage, I have no doubt that this is going to go down quickly. I'm not sure why they aren't throwing out those nuke charges, but, you know, c'est la vie.
I'll tell you what, chip damaging 40 at a time. Oh gosh, it's gonna be a long and painful fight for Syl.
Syl, you have nuke charges, or at least I think you do. I might be wrong about that, and if I am, I'm going to look really silly when I watch this. Yeah, there's 2 nuke charges right there, Syl. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. 376. Oh, time's running out. Oh no, you can't do heal potions.
Oh, but they can.
Oh, this is incredibly risky. And they
Syl, you have another nuke
charge left. Oh gosh. Meanwhile, we're kind of neglecting what Thunderclaude's doing here. Oh, Syl did take care of Kraken, but Thunderclaude is going down the waterfall cave to pick up his adamant.
Which again, could be one of the dead ends. You never know until you turn it in. And
exactly.
Yeah, chat pointing out that last nuke is being held for the lobsters because, yeah, in Kraken's room you can run into an encounter after you kill the squid, which is rough.
Yeah, very good point there by chat. Yeah, that is very true. All right, now what is the next play for our runners? I'm guessing we're going to have a visit with ordeals. Meanwhile,
okay, looks like
almost got rid of Ankylos there. I'm sorry about that, Leggy. Go ahead.
Yeah, looks like Syl's going to do what I would consider the correct play and go straight for Castle Ordeals. If you need to turn in the Adamant, this is the check you want to do because it's effectively on the way anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So the fun thing about Ordeals is usually when you play this, you always take the bottom pillar and you advance and you have yourself a nice day. You fight a couple nightmares and whatever. But in this, the warps to the pillars are randomized. And the reason we randomize it and keep that challenge going is that you do have access to that warp spell sometimes. And so we reward you for having access to that spell.
Plus, it's also fun to have a little bit of randomness in here. It's called a randomizer for a reason.
Well, yeah. Now this is the lady here that's programmed procedurally generated dungeons.
I've only done one of them so far. I'm responsible for the ProcGen Waterfall Cave.
Guilty as charged. Yep. Especially when they wrap around and then you just get totally lost.
Feature, not a bug.
Well, we'll debate that backstage, but in the meantime, we see giants and iguanas as the spike tile in Ordeals, as Thunderclaude's right behind them. And 164 gold.
Of course, the man cats have stun touch, which is my vote for worst status effect in the game.
Yeah, they're going to be in for a very painful wait.
Yeah, because stun touch makes you sit there and suffer while the man cats rip through your party. Whereas death touch, this would be over, Syl would be back on their dive again already.
Well, I think Syl's might have to hit the reset button here because they also have stone poison.
The fighter does have the best MDef in the game outside of a black belt. So Syl might be holding on hope. Fighter gets up. Crit for 25. No stun, no stun. Can't run away though.
Yeah, we had the oh, there we go. Finally. Oh my goodness, and that pretty much wiped out their advantage there.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Nothing exciting in these boxes.
No, I mean 12,000 would have been exciting about 30 minutes ago. Flame
Flame
Sword
Sword is
is
completely obsoleted by the Ice Swords. Finds
yeah.
the chime in the box.
Yeah, so we're down to turning in the atom and seeing what's there, I believe, or we can go to the ice cave.
Hey, who called Vanilla Floater earlier? Because it looks like we might be getting your list.
Oh, there you go. All right, so Syl goes ahead and makes that official, and they're going to move on to their next objective. Meanwhile, we have Thunderclaude knocking out all those Mancats and Medusas, and if it weren't for the fact that the Mancats had Stun Touch, that actually would not be a bad a spike tile.
Yeah. Sadly, Stun Touch cometh for us all.
All right, we're just about ready to hit the 1 hour mark here in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, the 4th annual edition. We have a competition between Sylverfyre and Thunderclaude, both contestants at 1 and 0. I am Game Boy F9. I am joined by 1 and 0 Leggy Starscream. The restream tonight is Demarine, who is 1 and 0 as well. Tracker is Ailmarkin, who is 0 and 1. And as we see, both runners at 1 hour take the credits.
And there's our adamant floating rock. Both of our runners are going to get in the air at about the same time. Syl saying hi to your Hooray Dwarf for the fans.
Yay!
Hooray!
Oh, excuse me. Hooray! Looks like the branches will divide again. Oh, no, they're both going west. I was hoping one would go east, the other would go west, and we could figure out which one's faster. But anyway, I ran.
Right? I have not taken the time to time it out myself. I really need to do that to settle that age-old debate once and for all.
Well, it's a matter of just counting up the steps, but that will take a while. And
Fair.
It looks like Thunderclaude wins out and also pops the bottle. So we're going to check out that item here promptly.
Indeed. Thunderclaude also has his slab translated. So we're in for some really fast checks of these key items.
But we also have pro rings for sale, so we're going to take a little bit of a break there just to buy those because they give you a decent defense boost and also some defense toward death. So always a good pickup.
Pro rings are the best glove slot in terms of defense that anyone in the game can equip. And that's even before you factor in the death immunity.
And we get a crown from the fairy, so I guess we'll go ahead and check that out, or are we gonna... Nope, we're gonna turn in the slab. Okay, we're gonna figure out if Sylverfyre is way behind, or if they're okay.
Yeah, because right now, Syl is a loot away from go mode. Same with Thunderclaude. If this slab turns into the loot, Syl is in a world of trouble.
All right, we're going to find out in 10, 9, 6, 3, 2, 1. Tail. Okay, Syl's okay.
Okay, that means Syl is not dead in the water. However, that is still a huge advantage for Thunderclaude at this point in the game. That tail will allow him to equip that dragon armor. It'll give his red mage access to a bunch of spells. It'll give his knight access to cure 4.
Yeah, exactly. And that pretty much, once Syl discovers that, as they go ahead and skip the peds there, which yield high experience. Yeah, they still might be looking for that other loose item, and that also will still cost them quite a bit of time.
Though they are only checking, they aren't checking thoroughly the way that I would expect them to do if they think they're looking for a loose item. They might accidentally have confused the canal for the second loose item. So they might think they're in go mode, which is technically correct. But hopefully works out.
We did find a Zeus gauntlet in the Fire Volcano Treasury, but not all that great, per se. Though it does cast Lit 2 for free, so that's always a good thing.
In my opinion, it's almost the same as the Thor hammer in terms of usefulness, except slightly worse for one reason, and that's because it's an armor item as opposed to a weapon. And one of the things in this game is often you find yourself way over encumbered trying to hold all the armor you want for your party, plus all the armor you want for your knight after they promote. Thunderclaude turns in the crown, steals the musical instrument from the kindly old king of Northwest Castle, is in go mode.
Yeah, that's pretty good there.
Once Syl clears Volcano, I imagine they're going to go over there and find their loot as well. No, they're in go mode. And then it's just a matter of who can get into Topher first. And then it's just a matter of how brutal Topher decides to be.
Yeah, you never know what Topher has, because the boss variants can be up to 230%, and it can be 1 over 230%. You do the math. And we do find another ribbon here over in Volcano, so Syl is not out in that direction. That's a good find.
Yeah, no. At this point, I'm willing to bet that for Syl, they're probably feeling fairly comfortable now that they found that ribbon, which might actually be what they had been diving for, though they are opening all the chests down here. So at this point, I'm just waiting for the post-race interview to see how Syl's been feeling about this, what's going on in their head.
Wow, those 3 wizard ogres and the green ogre, that was worth some pretty decent experience. Oh, an iron goal shows up on that trap tile. My goodness, they're definitely gonna go for that. Oh, the 3 hits for 3 damage. That's not great.
Yeah, iron goals, extremely tough, as one might expect from an enemy with iron in its name, but extremely lucrative. They are worth the second most experience points of any single enemy in the game. Outside of T-Rex, Warmech doesn't count.
And understandably, they're gonna go ahead and get another one, and I think they just knocked him out in 1 nuke. So as long as they get a nice roll, they're gone very quickly, and that's a grind.
Yeah, and at this point, you're not really scared of carry, so you can just dump your nuke charges into these iron goals to get that experience, which will hopefully allow your fighter to turn carry into I don't know.
I just
Something.
said that out there because Syl just knocked out an Iron Goal after 3 damage.
Thunderclaude
Yeah.
finding the what is vanilla a blue dragon at that tile, only a Gurpeed.
Yeah, that's not all that great. That's for sure. Thunderclaude not even bothering to check any of these boxes. Gonna go ahead and knock out all these red hydras. Meanwhile, here we go with the carry fight. Just as long as she don't have anything really crazy, 10 hits for 54 damage is not crazy.
Nope.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's it.
Syl's fighter looks at Carrie like, "You are a tiny baby. Watch this."
Oh.
Oh no,
Well,
Syl making the correct play. But unfortunately a play that's not going to pay off. Luckily has a bunch of warp charges, so this will be a fast check. And I imagine the moment they see what's gotta be the opal bracelet down here, they'll just warp back out.
yeah, and I mean, in the end, the opal bracelet isn't that terrible if you think about it, because that is a nice defense boost for a mage.
Yes, and from a routing point of view, it makes sense to do this while you're here. We just have the advanced knowledge of where everything's going to be.
Meanwhile, Thunderclaude about to hit the Bridge of Destiny, as a lot of people like to call it, where where you have a 24 and 256 chance of running into an encounter, and hopefully one of those encounters has the almighty Warmac.
So, looking at the stats, I believe Syl has either flame armor or ice armor on that fighter. Yeah, flame armor. So, in terms of absorb, the opal bracelet gives the same amount of absorb as the flame armor or the ice armor. So, if I'm Syl, I'm slapping that right on my red mage.
Yeah, they're gonna continue to explore here, but oh, that's a nice little trap tile. Mages and fighters.
Yeah, Syl taking a little more time, getting a few more levels, which is going to be super nice in Topher. That's level 25 on that fighter. But unfortunately, chasing down a rabbit hole that they really don't need to at this point, unless they don't feel comfortable pre-promotion.
Yeah, that's definitely a very serious consideration. I mean, for me, yeah. Tiamat fight over in Thunderclaude. Here we go. We're going to fast the Knight. We're also going to use the Power Glove there to boost everything. And we're going to throw a nuke down for 200 damage. And I never figured out the awesomeness of Sleep 2. Quite honestly, you put one person to sleep for one turn. I have no idea. Fire 2 comes down. Ooh, that's a nice swing. 425 damage. That's I think this is going to be a dead Tiamat very shortly.
Syl pulls the Bane Sword out of a chest here in Ice Cave, which you really want to see a little early on while enemies still have low enough M-Death that it's actually worthwhile. But Bane can still be used on Tiamat.
Yeah, exactly. With the legendary poison smoke terminated and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're going to move on here, and Thunderclaude's going to pay a visit to. Oh, I think he's going to pick up Exit. Oh no, going to pick up Fate. I did not notice Fate at level 6. That's a good buy.
Ooh.
Okay, now what is he gonna do? Yeah, he's gonna head over to the fire volcano, and that is going to be the last orb that he's got to light up. And Silverfyre is just trying to get out of here.
Yeah. Luckily, as always, nuke charges comes. Syl immediately flying off, probably gonna go turn in their crown.
You are indeed correct there. There's the loot.
Syl
And now
knows
we're
they're in
going to
go
have...
mode. Right now, I would definitely put them behind Thunderclaude, if only because that ice dive took a fair bit of time. But at this point, it all comes down to the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Yeah, I would say Thunderclaude's about half a dive ahead of it's half a Topher dive ahead. So, I mean, it's going to depend on what Syl decides to explore here for the final cave here, final tower, excuse me. And here's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Hey, remember how I talked about Iron Gulls were the second highest normal enemy in the game? Here we are.
Ouch, 342 damage. Ooh, Quad X wasn't enough, but 7 hits for 620 was. That's almost 5,000 points in a spin. My goodness.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we're going to have a carry not long for this cave here. See? I told you.
Wait, there was a fiend there? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no. Oh, by the way, it's Team Stake 1. Oh, now Team Tyro 1. Still just reset on a Tyro there.
Still opening boxes. I wonder what they're looking for at this point. They know they're in go mode.
Yeah, I can only think of two ideas. Number one, possibly a mass immune if they feel like promotion is not going to happen because they can't find that last loose item, or the other loose item.
Yeah, but at this point, Syl has to know that the loose item is the slab which leads to the tail, which isn't required.
All right. Meanwhile, over in Thunderclaude's side, he's already advanced to the 3rd floor of the Temple of Fiends. Meanwhile, Team State gets another point for their team. Now we're seeing these bad men over here. Looks like they just have Stinger, and that's not bad. But you always ask yourself when you see something like that, as we see a very hilarious spike tile here.
Right? I always love the Gurims and the Imps.
I mean, it's just like if we ever programmed in Dragon Warrior Randomizer Slimes protecting Erdrick's armor in Hawksnest. I mean, that's pretty much the equivalent. I'll get on McGrew's case to get that programmed in there. But anyway, Thunderclaude getting ready to enter the final few floors here. Well, I wouldn't say final. That sounds like it's about to end here. It's still got a long way to go. 3,500 points on those frost dragons. Let's see what Syl finds. They find Catmen.
Na 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 na. Oh wait, sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you what. I tell you what. We will have no. Mandatory green Medusas. No, that was a fail too.
Yeah, luckily they don't seem to have anything other than their plethora of hits, so that's a little less scary.
we do find the Sun Sword over in Syl's side. They will like that nice little boost in attack power there.
Yeah, like I'm the sort of person who's like, okay, I got an ice sword. Let's take that into Topher. I usually get my butt handed to me, but I will do ludicrous plays like that. Syl probably is feeling a lot more comfortable now that they have that Sun Sword.
Yeah, well, maybe not. They're still looking for treasure here. While Lich 2's already been terminated over in Thunderclaude's side, they're advancing over to carry.
Yeah, Lich is honestly the only boss in here that I just don't really worry about ever.
Until Luke.
Until Lich throws out, the nuke combo, and you're just like, oh, well, there we go. But here...
It's like they're always the first fiend and everything. Anyway, go ahead.
Here this carry is the first fiend who can really be dangerous. Carry is kind of in the middling stat range, which means when she sometimes she rolls up, sometimes she rolls down. And when she rolls up and you're gambling on her rolling down, it is terrifying.
Yeah, but meanwhile, it looks like 500 HP of damage already for Carrie, and I didn't really see much in her attack. Yeah, she's gone.
She rolled down.
Yeah. So let's deal with the true boss of Final Fantasy Randomizer, Kraken 2. Okay, that's not quite true, but yeah.
It's true often enough. Any one of these final fiends can be a huge roadblock. As for mentioned, any one of these fighters is going down hard to 2 high-rolled nukes or nuclears, but Kraken 2 is infamous for a high-rolling attack with his already massive number of attacks he gets per turn, which in 8 is vanilla, as one might expect. Tiamat has a higher base attack, but a lower number of hits, but is also extremely the beefy. And Chaos is just chaos. That 2000 HP pool is nasty if it decides to roll high, and you have to go through, oh god, like 4,600 in this flag set at most?
Yeah, Chaos maxes out at 4,600 HP. That is not a powerful Kraken. At just only dealt 192 damage there to the fighter. Not all that great. The nuke comes down. The sword comes down. Cure 4 comes down. It looks like Advantage Thunderclaude right now.
Well, as long as that Kraken stays standing, it is scary. Nuclear can hit for up to 320 damage, and nuke can hit up to 400.
Like that?
So,
and
of course, that nuke roll goes both ways.
Ooh, look what Thunderclaude equipped. I saw him equip the Vorpal Sword. So what's the difference between the Excalibur and the Vorpal Sword? So the Vorpal Sword has significantly less attack power and less hit percentage, but it has a much higher critical rate. So Thunderclaude's gambling that he's going to get all these crits and will get a much higher damage count. But if he can't get away from these zombie Ds and etc., then that's not going to matter.
Yeah, I don't disagree with slapping that Vorpal on if you're gambling on Tiamat having high absorb. I would have just done it now as opposed to right when I got on the floor, because these wild packs of vampires aren't going to have nearly the absorb that Tiamat 2 will.
Speaking of Tiamat, we do have Tiamat fights in stereo. Thunderclaude fighting Tiamat 2, still going against Tiamat 1.
Or as I like to say, we have the original and the remix.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's Fog 2 over in Thunderclaude side. The Black Mage just got flattened by Tiamat 1 over on Zill's side.
Oof.
And 229 damage, 2 critical hits, but that wasn't all that great.
Yeah, Tiamat opening with Zap, which is an insta-kill spell. Luckily, none of the Light Warriors got by it. Follows that up with a Lit 2. And I fully expect this to go fairly... Oh no! Syl takes the wipe to Tia.
Yeah, so Tiamat looked like she had Stone Touch. Yeah, that is confirmed by our tracker Aelmarkin. That pretty much will be the end of Syl's chances of victory, most likely.
Yeah, unless Chaos here decides that Thunderclaude doesn't get to win today, I think it's not over till it's over. But it's looking fairly grim for Syl's chances.
Yeah, exactly. And wow, there is not a lot of time on this clock. We're not even at 85 minutes. That's kind of incredible for flags like this. But here we go. It's Chaos time. Let's see what Chaos has in store today. We have Invis popping up, Fast popping up, Power Gauntlet, and we're gonna lock 2 to. Oh, and that is an incredibly weak Chaos. Only 1 hit for 143 damage. Yikes! Understandably, continuing to lock 2 and Power Gauntlet and Invis and get that invasion up, because you never know, Chaos could just go critical hit, 10,000 damage, you're dead.
Yeah. Chaos throwing out one of the Lit 2s that we take off Kraken and use to kind of pad out the feed spell pool a little bit. That lock 2 is nice in case Chaos decides to be a bit evasive. Means that more of the hits we're swinging around are going to actually land on the big bad boy.
And then Nuke fires, flattening 2 of the Light Warriors. Oh my goodness.
Luckily,
Cure 4.
Gus gets off that Cure 4 before Chaos gets to go again. But Chaos decides, I don't like that Black Mage. So Thunderclaude putting up the ruses. I think at this point that knight basically has max evade. So it's just a question of who can outdamage each other, and it's Thunderclaude.
Yeah, that was once he got all set up with that very rare ruse cast, adding 80 evasion points to the knight's total, that pretty much was good game. Thunderclaude wins 86 minutes and 3 seconds. Sylverfyre immediately forfeited after that. Good game by both of our runners tonight.
Yeah, given that they're still at 3 orbs, I don't blame them for deciding, nah, I'm going to tap out.
Yeah, I do have to agree with both you, Leggy, and Sylverfyre there. So definitely understandable. So I do know that Thunderclaude will be joining us for an interview shortly.
Yeah, I'm watching out for him. And here we are. GG's Thunderclaude. How you feeling?
Thank you, guys.
So,
sorry.
About that early sea dive.
Oh my gosh, that felt real bad. When I saw the Fire 2 come out of Sea Trolls, I was like, okay, Fire 2 is not that bad, right? But then Sea Trolls were everywhere, and then the Lobsters just smacked so hard. And then the Ghosts, ugh. And then getting through Kraken off of Fire 3, last Desperation charge, I don't know.
Yeah, you and Syl both had super, super clutch Kraken 1 fights. Unfortunately, they took a wipe to Tiamat 1 while you were on Tiamat 2. because they never found the slab and were opening boxes all over the place trying to find it.
Oh no. I guess did Syl just kind of go mode Earth, I'm assuming?
They gambled on that one room in the dang cave.
Oh.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you gamble chests.
Yeah, man. It felt really bad when I full cleared C, and then I realized that my loose had to either be in Keylock, Northwest Castle, or Marsh. I was like, oh my goodness. If Syl checked either one of these, Syl is way far ahead of me right now.
Yeah, and they actually went Marsh while you were in C and found that whole set of progression, went up, plucked the adamant out of Waterfall Cave, and then decided to see themselves. So you both were fairly neck and neck for a while. I'm the thing that really tilted the scales super deeply in your fail, Thunder, was Syl continuing to open boxes, probably trying to find that loose slab. Hey, Syl, how you doing?
Hello, I was looking for like the loose slab or a Mausimune or something.
So we never saw any Mosmoons.
Okay,
But do you want to know where the slab was?
where?
It was loose on the second floor of Earth Cave.
In the trap room, I didn't check because I decided I wasn't going to check trap rooms at that time.
Yup.
Heck.
Luckily, it only led to the tail.
Well, I know it led to the tail, but I had an X-Cal. Like, I had an X-Cal and a Dragon Armor and an Aegis Shield. Like, that would have been more than enough that I would have just been like, okay, yeah, we're going. But like, Ice Sword? No. No, I'm not doing Temple of Fiends Revisited with an Ice Sword.
See, I was just talking about how I had the chutzpah to probably try that myself.
I would have done it with the Sun Sword had I not also wiped to Stone Touch Tiamat.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, I believe that word heck pretty much describes it. That's for sure. So I'm guessing Masamune would either have been in Temple of Fiends Revisited or the other half of the Marsh Cave. I guess those
Or
would be, like,
Upper
the
Sea
places to
Shrine.
Thunder, you did a pretty thorough clear of Mermaid Side, right?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay.
I opened every box in Sea Shrine.
Okay. I was not especially thorough with my boxes after finding one of the loose.
See, the problem, did you find the canoe loose? Yeah, you had to if you never
The
found the squid.
TNT, yeah.
Or, yeah. So I ended up going to Earth Cave before Marsh and finding that
I
slab.
did too.
So
But
when
I gambled I gambled away specifically the trap tiles that were behind encounter, like the chests that were behind encounter tiles.
Mhm.
Because I was doing it on a 2-man party unwillingly. Because my black mage got crit like right as I was coming in.
Mhm. Yeah, whenever I found the slab first in Earth Cave, and then I knew I was either pigeonholed to full clearing C or full clearing Marsh, or Northwest Castle was the other check I didn't do by that time. I thought, well, at least I know this loose has to be canoe, and I'm gonna have both loose out of the way for the rest of the seed. So I kind
Yeah,
of was able to
at
skip a
that
lot of
point it has
boxes.
to lead to the canoe.
But yeah, thank you both for an incredible race tonight.
Well, thank you, and
I
GG
also
still.
also want to talk about that Kraken fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, Syl, why don't you go first, and then Thunder, why don't you share your experience with the squid tonight?
Okay.
So I was setting up on Kraken, like casting a fog 2 or 2. I was really low on magic. Again, my black mage died like right before the boss, so like unwilling 2-man strats. But Fog 2 is pretty good against Kraken, so I get a couple stacks of it up, and then the fighter gets crit and dies. And I'm like, well, my red mage has an ice sword and 2 nuke charges left. Maybe I can squeeze this out. And I was down to the point where it's like, okay, I'm taking like 6 hits, 6 to 12 damage or so. I'll be alternating throwing heal potions and swinging.
Whereas I was in the booth shouting, "Syl, use the nukes!"
Oh, I mean, I knew I had them. I just like. I was like, if I can't stabilize, like, if I can't get to a point where I'm stable, it doesn't matter if I, like. Because I'm probably going to have to do at least 800 damage.
All right, Thunder, your turn.
Yeah, I kind of had a somewhat similar experience. My white mage got punched out on the way to Kraken. I was fighter Rainbow, and
I was also Fighter Rainbow. I just danced the white mage.
yeah, I unintentionally danned my white mage about 2 encounters before Kraken's orb, and so I was fighter red black, and I got up there and I was like, okay, heal up, pull him, get in a fight. I throw a power bonk on my fighter, and I throw a nuke out, I think, on both other characters. And I think, and at this point, I just got out damage Kraken before he out damages me. But I nuke him down. He does some like weird just chip stuff. Then all of a sudden he punches out my black mage in one hit. I'm like, oh great, there goes half my nukes. And I got like 2 left on the red mage. Then he punches my fighter down to like critical. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna heal pot up. Hope he does junk spells because I got 2 ribbons on right now. And no, he punches out my fighter at the next 2 rounds. And at this point, I've only thrown out like 600 damage, it felt like, or 500 damage. I was like, there's no way. My red mage to those nuke out doesn't kill him, but my red mage gets punched down to like 60, 80 HP. I'm like, well, I'm dead next round. I have no nuke charges. So I threw out my fire 3 and killed Kraken. I was like, okay. 43 damage,
I
fire
just
3 takes
remembered.
Kraken down.
There was actually a turn I was gonna cure 4 my fighter.
Oh, I did the same thing and it went out too late.
I accidentally fire 3'd instead.
Yeah, my cure 4 went out on my fighter before or after Kraken smacked my fighter down.
Don't tease the octopus, friends.
No, do not tease the octopus.
All right, so that means that Syl will go down to 1-1, and Thunderclaude will go up to 2-0, heading into the next week, which will be fire or air week. We don't know.